Hello, hello. Good morning, family. All right. So I do apologize for being late this morning. It was not because I was being lazy. We have, as everyone's heard, for Colorado, we have many fires going on here that is out of control. So luckily for my city where I am, they're not immediately here. But I have a few contacts down south with one of the bigger fires in Beulah, Rye, kind of southwest of Pueblo, if you want to look at a map, and only about an hour from here. And so I was in contact with a bunch of people trying to see if, coordinate how to help with towing trailers and things out of the fire zone, since I have a truck that can tow a decent weight. There's a bunch of need for, when you're towing a trailer, you have a farm or you have, more than one trailer. Well, if you have one tow vehicle, one driver, how do you get multiples? So that's kind of what I was trying to this morning. I got a few messages early this morning. I've been fielding that and some phone calls trying to figure out things with how to help coordinate with that and everybody. So sorry about hopping on late. I was doing some stock tracking in between, and looks like we got a few things we can talk about. But yeah, my title for this is kind of a clickbait. We need to talk. There's a few things, though, I do want to cover with. It's not full clickbait, but SpaceX inclusion tomorrow morning to the NASDAQ 100. I want to talk about that with you guys. I want to cover Orb also. As you've heard my phone going off, that's one of these contacts down in the fires. If it goes off as well, depending on who calls, I might need to pause the live stream. I am sorry. I'm waiting for the wildlife extension to call back, so we'll see if they do. They probably won't this early. Anyways, we'll continue on. So let's see. Google here has reached the top of the trend line. I did I'll turn these off real fast for you just to give you a better view, less noise. Did a trend line off of this from earlier in the week, and it's looking pretty good. If you go all the way back, way up here to, maybe could have gone over here, but I stopped there, to May, in fact. I drew this out all the way back to May and realized there's actually a channel that formed here. And I find it interesting. Now, is this channel going to hold? We'll see. We are close to the top line here, so we'll see if there is a breakout potential today. Watch for that. We can do Orb on this if you want. I don't think it's reached the top level yet. It bounced down and back up midway. I did a preliminary on this. But Google might be in this channel, so if it does reverse off of this line, then we have kind of a long drop if this channel holds. Pretty ugly if this is a true channel here and it, does this big crazy rebounding thing. It's like a $25 roughly $20 bounce. So, possible. But take a look at this. So let's do it. Let's get into Orb on this real fast, just so that we have an idea of how this would look today. All right, 15-minute time frame, horizontal ray. We're going to come in on the bottom and the top. Yep. There we go. Move to a 5-minute. And yeah, kind of what I expected. So it broke down, somewhat confirmed. We turn the Mo's recipe back on here. You'll see that, as it came down in here, it pretty much reversed right away back to midline. But we'll see if it can break this trend line. This yellow here is the old trend line. So in order to break this and get to orb, we'd actually would have to confirm above the trend line, which would be a somewhat breakout, right? So kind of a double interesting technical analysis here. So all right, let's get some context. Comments. Need some news on SPY for today. May have made a mistake. Oh boy. So I actually did. I was $4 shy of 400 on a 2-option strategy spread with IWM from Thursday. I do apologize about my voice with the smoke out here for the last like 2 weeks roughly. It's been rough. So even though I've got the filters going in the house, it still makes you feel good. Today is actually not bad. It looks pretty good today. But it's been like a fog rolling in. Imagine yourself kind of like downwind from a campfire and then just living there. Like that's kind of how it's been. So a little bit annoying on the voice here. So anyways, IWM, I went for a little bit of a risk on it. I did not call it out on the Discord because it was last minute. I kind of liked the chart, and I didn't really see any reason for things to go bad over the weekend. Yeah, that could have gone wrong. But it worked out fine. So I opened up the, let's see, somewhere in here, I opened up oh, that's what it was. I remember it now. The reason why I did it was a double bottom. A double bottom. Right here. I liked that basically the wicks were somewhat similar in the 15-minute chart. The overall candle average was pretty uniform. They don't have to be perfect in order to be double bottom. So I liked it for that, even though it was still risky. It's not like, amazingly strong. And IWM is, the Russell 2000 is not like a bunch of really high growth stock, company inclusions. So it could have gone funny, and it didn't have to follow this at all. But it worked out. So I did a 1 and a 2 day spread, basically. One expired today, one expired tomorrow, on a 297 call. So it's a double call with 2 expiration dates. And so, yeah, by doing a spread, it kind of made it a bit more affordable. It's just kind of how margin works. It kind of gives you a bit of a credit. And so by doing that, yeah, ran from roughly, it was probably somewhere in here, so to 295 with a 297 call strike. And we broke above the 50 today, this morning at opening. And I sold somewhere in here. I actually had to set a sell order for higher than what I was at, and was really praying that it would just do one more quick wick pop, which sometimes they do that. You get this big candle in the morning, a slight pullback, you get one more pop, and then you get the full pullback. So I was really hoping that my 6.4 premium sell order was going to hit in here, and it did. It went a little bit above the 6.4 into this order block there. Before it kicked down, and luckily I sold up there, so I'm still above. I would have had to wait all this time to get back to where I was at the start. So happy I sold it, and yeah, market looks really good for low cap, smaller cap stuff right now. And you said SPY, so well, here's the Qs. Kind of looking interesting. Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, IWM is small, mid cap. Kind of, as you can say, zombie companies. It's not really that they're dead companies. It's just that they don't move or grow nearly like the Qs or the SPY does. And so they will run, well, you can't say will. they can very much run differently. So that's why you see this one being like a bullish movement off of Thursday, where the Qs, though bullish from Thursday, is having a little bit of trouble today. It ran up real quick, and now it's going to retest that 13, possibly get down here and test the 50 before we run up again. Now that, for me, is interesting because now you said SPY. I don't have much news for SPY today other than like the Mag 7 stuff. Some are good, some are struggling. And as you can see here, now you said you're in trouble. So you did a put, I'm assuming. You thought maybe like here it was going to turn around and fall. That's my guess. I think you were trying to do. So here's my take on it. Why does SPY and IWM look similar right now? Let's kind of get this optimized a bit. It's a bit too big. Yeah, I like that one. Okay, so here's IWM, and here's 5 minutes, 15 minutes. There we go. All right. Let's get these looking similar here. Okay, here's SPY. Take a look at that real fast. Kind of a swoop in, swoop out. All right. IWM, almost the same. We don't have a green candle to start. It was red, but it sloped right up. So if you don't have this here, it's like very similar, right? So to me, there's some crossover in smart money rotation here. And so we have some money going into small mid caps. We have some money going into the major markets. But if you look at a lot of the Mag 7s, or Mag 10 if you want to add a few others now, there's some that are up and some are down, which makes it kind of confusing for the Qs. Now the Qs are struggling for a tad bit because I believe, yeah, see Google bounced off that trend line just as I suspected. Isn't that funny how things work like that? Stay safe. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, especially if I, get some more details here and actually can come down and help tow stuff out, it'll be interesting. Now, National Guard and the police force aren't going to let me into, like, fire zone where there's flames and trees and stuff. It'll be all the stuff that's burned out and done, and then or ahead of the curve to remove trailers and horses and livestock ahead of the fires, but in a safe zone. So unfortunately, I won't be like in a war zone with any cool video of things. I would not mind doing things like that, but they're not going to let me do that. So it'll be more so coming in and doing like rescue of stuff that's gotten loose and then was able to survive it, or ahead of time and remove and bring those outside the zone for pickup or drop off at a different pasture, things like that. So thank you for the comments though. 751 in the SPY. Let's see. This is Google, so we're going to keep that one. Ooh, Tesla, look at that. Interesting. This little fake out there. 751. 31, you said? Let's make this a bit more. Well, yeah, I mean, we already hit that. Oh, 51, sorry. 51.31. 51.31. It's just a little bit above the Bollinger Band right now on the 5. Oh, I see what you mean. I see why you're saying that. I was kind of like, why would we do that? Okay. So I agree with you to mostly. So we have to watch this right here, right? We have to watch these wicks as the historic resistance. I don't see anything recent that would be strong enough. So yeah, now to be honest, right where we're at, right here on this order block is going to be acting as a pretty strong resistance before we even hit this. So if we zoom into this peak here, these candles here are going to be the resistance. Now, historically and textbook wise, you'd have the top area of these candles become more of that price action, which definitely can be and usually is. But the market today isn't very bullish on really much of anything. So it's not going to have a ton of volume to push into that really top level yet. Now that can easily change in a minute, right? But Right now, we're sitting right here on this block. So in order to have something push up here, we'll need some kind of catalyst. I mean, it's very early for the day, so it easily could retest these. So yeah, 751, 15, 31, whatever. You know, if you move this all the way to the top of those wicks, 28, you know, it's whatever, you know, it's close enough. So I agree. I think that easily can retest all of those for sure, for sure. I would not really get into much at the moment because we're real close to that top point, and any moment in here it can turn. Like this whole area right here is definitely a point of worry, not fear, but you know, let's see, is there like a little shapes thing? I don't know. I don't know the shape. That's fine. So yeah, so right where we're at 750 to 51 is going to be a questionable space. So just be careful in there and watch for any type of reversals. I don't know if it'll be like sharp reversal, but it might just be a rounded one, kind of like what Google did off of this here, where it's going to float and just chop. It could just bounce and just, you know, drop right off. But be careful in the 750 751 zone for sure. If you safe bet is not to play anything right now and just wait for more direction. 15 minutes. So Qs have a lot of stuff going on behind it. So yeah, I don't see anything obvious. You could have done actually there's an interesting double bottom here. It's very similar to IWM. Very, very similar. Not as pretty, not as obvious. That one wick makes it a bit more obvious. If it wasn't for this, it'd be up here, which would be very... But that is very close to a double bottom, and obviously it did work, right? I mean, we can see historically now that it went from, you know, 708 all the way up here to 721. So so my double spread on IWM is nice. It's a very wonderful return. It's actually 2 days of my goals. I try to hit $200 a day, so I'm pretty much at 2 days of a goal, which is wonderful. I'm already ahead of the curve. But if I was able to get into this one and do that spread on the Qs, that would have been even more sweet. Obviously, it would have cost more, and there's a lot more risk to that. So that's kind of why I didn't do that. But yeah, it's very, very similar. So hoping to get to 747.90, if not all the way back down to a huge loss today. If not all the way. Oh, so you're in a put. So you're in a put in the SPY, huh? Once you get into it, turn off Siri. Go away. When did you hold? I mean, you didn't hold from overnight, right? I mean, that would be 747. So no, you must have just 47.90. 47.90. That's right here. Okay, so what you probably entered right here, huh? Somewhere in there. On this candle. You probably grabbed it right up here in the middle and thought, oh, we're going to reverse down. So you grabbed a put here, and then it went and did a nice long lollipop wick and then reversed and ha ha ha. Chop, chop, chop. Let's eat all your money up, retailers, because you're all silly people. And then it ran, right? Currently put, not even, yeah. Oh, the 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. So 1 minute candles, I mean, for 0 DTE, 1 minute is fine. It's, you know, easily done. I won't say easily, but, you know, you can definitely do it. But my one worry with that, especially in the morning, is exactly what you saw. Is that heavy reversal. You know, right away, you know, I guess it's not like exactly in the morning, well, yeah, it's the first like 10 minutes, right? 10, 15 minutes. It can get very crazy. Look at Tesla. Okay, let's just go real quick to Google. Look at Tesla's reversal this morning. And I got, oh man, dude, I had someone message me right after this candle. And they were like, oh my gosh, it freaking blew me out of the water. Yeah, I wanted to get into a Tesla put because of this. And I was like, I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. So I just watched. And literally you had seconds. I'm going to even go smaller time frame. Seconds to reverse this. Now, if you had Mo's recipe here, which we need to talk about that too. I've got two things to talk about. Recipe and SpaceX. So we'll get to that in a second here. But entering this morning, it dropped off from roughly, let's see, 398. It did a wick up here. So really more like almost 400. And just catered, just screamed straight down in less than 2-3 minutes into 390. So almost a $10 drop within minutes. And then as soon as, okay, thank you. As soon as, let's go to your 1 minute deal here, right? As soon as it got down here, you have a doji. Now, I was not looking at the 1 minute chart at the time, but this is your biggest tell. Now, if you guys remember last time we had a live, we looked at dojis before. This, let me get it better. There we go. That guy right there, this little, long wick, skinny little bar. That's called a doji, and that means that you have significant change in either way. It doesn't mean it's going to go back up, but in this situation, as you fell $10, there's a better chance it's going to reverse on you. So if you saw this pop up and you have in your timer over here, you have less than a few seconds left, get out of that put. That's going to be your biggest suggestion. Now, it doesn't have to follow this, but it usually does. And you can see on the visual range profile here, these bars over here, this white line, I didn't draw that. That's part of the visual range profile. That is your point of control. So the system actually just puts this line through, and it bounced 100% on that line. So that's why I love visual range profiles. So if I was in this morning and I was following this down, I see it get to that white line, the point of control. I see a doji, even without looking at anything else. The EMAs, the RSIs, even MACD, if you look right here on the MACD, it's going to fake you out. It doesn't even have a light-colored bar yet. CCI kind of does. That's why I like CCI. You can see on CCI right here. Actually, I'm going to make this huge for you. If you look right here on this dotted line, the doji is right exactly where the blue line was already starting to come up. Old standard RSI has it similarly too, but much more aggressive on the CCI. MACD didn't help at all. But visual range profile, point of control line, CCI turn up, and doji right there are your biggest tells of reversal. So all that to say that it was an instant reversal and came from 391 and rocketed to 392.5, and then went from there quite quickly. So, if you were down here in profit, you quickly lost at least half, if not more, of your profit within 2 minutes. So that being said, mornings are crazy, and that's why in the SPY, when you entered in here, I totally can see why you would have done that. There's a lot of times we do have that. We have a little fake out bull trap, and then we have just the SPY drop off $3, $4, $5. I totally get why you would do that. But on a 1 minute chart, really be close to your phone, your computer for stop losses, or just to get out of that contract within the first 15-20 minutes of opening the market, because it's, look at this, totally nuts. If you could follow this well and with luck, you could have ran an $8 move, You could have a $16 move right here on Tesla, and you could have banked hundreds to thousands potentially, right? And then been done for the day. Obviously, with Mo's recipe here, we have all of these signals to tell you you can stay in, and it would have ran all the way up. Actually, it's still going. So, you know, now we're getting overbought signals up here, so at any point it can return. But same idea with the SPY though. You know, morning time, very, very early morning, 15, 20, 30 minutes from opening, it's unpredictable for sure. And TA doesn't always help. On Tesla, generally Tesla does have a pretty solid stock that runs with your analysis, like the Doji reversals, especially in the morning, first half of the day, first 2-3 hours in the day. After that, it can get squirrely, and there's always chances that it doesn't follow your TA. But definitely, Tesla seems to run pretty closely to that. IWM still having trouble rising. SPY, yeah. What's this green line? Oh, that's right, our historic line. So be careful with opening morning stuff for sure. They can really knock you out. Looks like Google's gonna test the trend line here, heading toward top of orb there. Interesting. All right. Usually start 9 a.m. Make one trade a day. Past 3 months, I've had a 40 win, 14 loss. Oh, by doing that, nice. Yeah. I mean, if you get into something that, like, you know, Tesla's morning drop, you know, the first 10 minutes, and you were able to read this just right, or just to get out of it early, yeah, that could be easily your one trade for the day. Like I pulled my 2 options I did from Thursday, sold them right here, and there's no reason for me to play anymore today. There's no reason. I hit my goals, and I don't need to play anything more. You know, do I want to get into Tesla right now? Kind of. Do I want to play Google with this? Yeah, I do, because this is confirming above the line. And I kind of was like, that looks fun to me, because we have a trend line breakout. Basically, if you look all the way back here, you had some wicks up here, but overall it didn't hold. We're holding. It's the first time this is held above that line since May. So, you know, I kind of want to play. But I hit my goal for the day. So rules would be is if I do anything with this, I'm going to do shares. Shares only. Now, I could drop in, you know, maybe 5 or 6 shares. Nothing crazy. Let it run up, let's say $3 or $4, make 10, 15 bucks, and then sell the shares off. You know, this might be a good place to hold a position right now. And as long as it doesn't fall back below the trend line, it's only upside, right? So this could be a good position for shares at this point, as long as we're holding above the trend. But as far as options go, I've already hit my goal for the day. And my rule is, you hit your goal, you log off. So I did not do that. Was it not last Friday? The one before. And hit my goal times 3. I should have just been done. Look at that. Look at that. Told you. So I'm actually going to go right now in here and add to my shares. I already have a few of Google. Yeah, I'm getting blown up my phone with all these comments of the fire stuff. I need to figure out that here when we're done. Let's see. So I renamed my my account too, my portfolios. Ooh, SpaceX is falling. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna get to that in a second here. I just want to take care of this. Here's my Google shares. Yeah. So I'm not gonna do too much. I'm gonna I'll grab a little over 1 extra right now. I want to wait for it to confirm. Now it ran a lot from the valley here, so it fell after opening, and it's run up a lot already. So it went from a 354 to 360. So we've already grabbed a $6 move from that valley. So I don't know how much more it's got for the day. As long as it can hold above the trend line, the yellow here, and potentially break out from the orb line. So if we can get into like this range and hold, I like it. I like it for at least the rest of the day, and then we'll kind of see how things go. But as you see here, we don't have any more details for the visual range profile because this price has not it's not reached it yet, so there's nothing to really show you. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like when you're at those all-time highs or recent all-time highs, you know, what are we gonna do? Obviously, I opened this way back when it was down here. Point of control for the visual range profile is way over here. So it might be time to redo it because this is old. It's showing an old point of control being way down at 341. I don't think we will hit that again unless something bad happens. But yeah, so I don't have anything more to help me with my visual range profiles up here. I always could just go in here and add another one. Let's see, where is it? So anchored volume profile, visual range profile, that's kind of the same deal. So you just add it, you click, and then it will start to build from there. So I'm going to leave the old one because obviously I know it's old because I have really, really big blocks, and the new one will be skinnier and thin. But then they'll overlap eventually. But for now, I'm going to leave that because we've broken out. So I'm going to let that help me gauge my thought process for this. As long as we hold above this yellow line, I like Google. It does not, for today, it does not have to break the green orb line for me to be happy with it because it already broke the trend line from May, as long as it holds. Now, if we see it drop down below this, it's failed and we have to wait for it to restart. That's my take on Google right now. SPY still kind of just holding on to that 13, and then IWM same kind of deal. So all right, SpaceX, let's get into that real quick. So tomorrow morning, yeah, this is what I thought. So if you wanted to play orb on this, I mean, I guess you could. We already have kind of failed the. We've already filled the lower wick here. So we know it's going to be down below. So green line, let's make it like, I don't know, something a little more obvious, teal. There we go. So here's the orb line for SpaceX. We broke down right here. That candle right there is confirmation candle because it has a wick that is below the line. It's not cut by the line, where unlike this candle here, it's broken by the orb line. This one, it did not touch it, but it got close and closed below. Obviously, Mo's bread recipe here showing 13 over 50 right there. So 13 went, or not over, under, 13 under 50. So that's helping signal that it's going to be bearish. This candle shows it. MACD's kind of showing it. RSI not so much. But the EMAs definitely did. Mo's bread recipe definitely did. And then ran from there. So if you were going to play SpaceX to the downside, right here at the 13 under 50, and this candle, you could have more confidently opened this up. Now, I would have definitely have put my stop loss probably right at the top of the prior green candle. I like that. Tight stop loss, because if it's going to reverse back to the orb line, you could do the top of that prior green candle or the orb line, either way. That would only be a 40 cent move roughly, but that's still like 30-40 bucks per contract, loss there. So you could play with that one, but I always look, people go, well, where do you place your stop loss with orb? It depends. It depends on the situation. I'm not going to say it's always on the orb line. I'm not going to say it's always at the prior candle. You have to kind of read the chart. This prior candle, I liked it, so you could pick this one, but that's a small window. So when you have a bid-ask spread, you could close by accident if you do that. So you could go to orb line, which would help you a little bit more, but that's about a $40 loss per contract. So, be careful there. But if you open it up there, look at that. It's perfect. And I like to go double what my stop loss is. So 0.7. So 2 of those would be 1.4 to 1.7, which is what it did. And look at that. The green box here pretty much held right there in all of those candles. And that's kind of why I like doing that double. Whatever my stop loss is, I double up to the green box and take profit there. Because a lot of times the stock will actually do that. And as you see, it pretty much did. Now I could have brought it to 2.0, which I do like. I do like having a 2.0 to 2.5. And so easily 2.5 would be right here. So I would have grabbed that, I would have grabbed most of this candle, and as it was returning back up, you could have sold anywhere in there and grabbed, see, 160 from 163, a $3 put right there. Beautiful. Right here. And you could have sold it anywhere in this candle as it was forming. Ideally toward the bottom, obviously. So $3 move right there per contract, with orb being just confidence. Confidence. A big help here is Mo's bread recipe, though, to be honest. Let's turn this off. I'll show you. Let's turn off everything. We'll make it just candles. We'll move this. We'll move this. Okay? I'll give you a second. What do you see? Could you do this on your own? Without seeing the EMAs, without seeing anything? Forget this arrow here. Just ignore that. Right? All you have is candles and time frames. Again, ignore this. Right? This is all you see. If you don't have Mo's bread recipe and you're not throwing other EMAs out there that TradingView can offer you, right? You just have like RSI, you have MACD. You go, all right, this feels bearish. Okay, I'll agree with you. Throw orb on, blah, blah, blah. There we go. Move to the 5. Okay. Here's our first confirmation. All you do is follow the line. Broke. Doesn't break. Okay. So here's our candle that didn't break, right? And then we fall. Now, always easier in hindsight, right? Now, if you go back, let's do something like this, right? Like, we have a green candle forming. It turns red. Okay, I like it. Oh, no, it's green. Close it. Close the put. Oh, it's green. Oh, wait, it's not green. Like you see in replay, that green candle easily could have thrown you off on the 1-minute chart. But it was one of those down over down deals where it doesn't act. I forgot what Mo calls it. I need to ask him. He has a name for it. It's where you have, for this put position, you have a movement down, a slight movement back up, and then movement back down again. But here, the same thing. Down. Oh, let's close it. Let's close our put, right? Because it's green. But then it keeps falling. So in hindsight, it's always easier to look at charts and go, oh, yeah, you could hold this all day because look at this. Yeah, well, look at this replay. 2 different times, here and here and here, 3 times now, we have green candles that would fake you out. Look at this, total fake outs right here. Like, oh no, which one are we gonna go? So 3 different times, especially this one, you would close your puts right there and you would have lost out on all of this. So Sagmo Trio, is that what it is? Okay, I should know this, right? I'm like one of the insiders here with Mo, and I don't even know what he calls it. Sorry, a little distracted with different things, and I always forget these little things. Sakmo Trio, yeah, that is what it is. Yeah, that makes sense. It's where you have a candle in your movement, whether it be a bullish or bearish, and then you have the opposite candle that kind of moves sideways, and then the continuation candle. So it's a little trio, which is exactly what we saw here in 3 different sections, let's just say. So if we went a little bit longer in time frames, you'd see it right here better. This is the where's it? Right here. That's the trio. Oops. Sorry. Right here. So, candle in our favor. Sideways one that kind of fakes you out, right? And then another candle in our favor. So there we go. That's the stock mode trio. So I hope that helped with understanding candles, plus also how to utilize the bread recipe to make things way more easy. And those of you that are I know I copied this into the normal Discord chat here in the options. So, you know, I love the GIFs. I know people get annoyed at all the GIFs, but I think they're great. I love them. So obviously I posted this into the regular chat for everybody to see. So I'm hoping, I think we had like 15 people on at one point. I'm hoping that others are in here. I will actually do this right now. I'll keep that up, sorry. I want to go to the chat here. And do I still have it? I do. Okay. So in the chat, I'm putting up a link and a code. So this link is going to be for Mo's bread recipe and access to Earner Plus tier, the extra live trades with Mo, live streams with Mo on Wednesdays, and his specialty option plays. Anybody out here that is not in Lifetime, please, please, please jump in. This link here is for the monthly payments. The 40% off takes it down to like $253 a month for a year, and then you'll have lifetime access to this. Prices will not stay this low. We already had a price increase into the lifetime opportunity. You get this recipe, which is incredible. If you put on a different strategy, you're not going to get as easily. What I'm trying to say here. You know, the indicators here that pop up. We have RSI, bearish. We have all these different indicators here that are built in. You don't even need the MACD and RSIs. You don't need those. You can simply just use the bread recipe like he does. Everything you see on what he does live is what you get. But forever. Use this code before, or not that one, sorry. My other tab, which you can't see. Use the code before it goes up. Because I think we had, it was 4,000, yes. It was 4,000 for the lifetime, just a straight payment. And then we had a code at 40% off. So that brought it down to just above 2,000, something like that. And then now I can tell you, let me go over to my specialty tab here. And the lifetime access now is $4,600 for the full payment. So we've already increased by $500 roughly, a little more than that. So I mean, it's gonna, and Mo, honestly, I was in his meetings before we even opened Earner Plus, and he was reluctant to even let public into the Earner Plus with access to the recipe. I'll be straight up forward with you all. Anyone listening, he had worries to give his bread recipe out to the public, but he's really dedicated into helping people learn how to trade and become successful and get back against the market makers. And so, He has spent years perfecting the script, the inside script for this recipe. It's not as simple as just clicking a few tools. There's a whole coding system on Pine something is called, that TradingView offers to like code out your whole script and everything. So I know I'm getting a lot into pushing this lifetime thing, but I want you to understand the gravity of the situation with his recipe and what he has built and used for years and perfected over any other, tools and indicators that TradingView has. It's very specific, and so. Oh, you lost me for a second. Well, I have another tab over here on my iPad live. I'm still over here. I don't know what happened. Sorry, Weldon. I'm not sure what happened. Mine's still rolling. So, anyways, I don't want to be that naggy guy that's trying to always sell you on stuff, but maybe people don't understand how much goes into this bread recipe script. There's a ton. There's a ton, and he was, it's their baby essentially, right? He's sharing this with the world, so just letting you know, there's a lot more to it than just simply throwing up some indicators and saying, "Oh, buy my indicator." Yeah, there's a full script behind it that took a lot of time to build it up. So just letting you guys know, but yeah, I would definitely. Oops, not that one again. Different tab. Use the link above there. It's 40% off. And I get it. Times right now are really tough with different things. It's really hard to pay for anything extra. Trust me. I'm not, a millionaire or anything even remotely close. As people know, if you've been around with me long enough, you know that I basically financially had to start over at only 5-6 years ago. From zero. Lost everything in a divorce. Wasn't like it was gambling, but and so trust me, I have had to rebuild at 35 years old from negative money in the bank to where I am now. So, which is not anywhere near I want to be, but it's somewhere more than where I was. And so anyways, enough of that. Let's see, Crypto Viking. Hey, new here, joined Lifetime about a month ago. Appreciate your analysis. I've been trading for a few years, but ready to learn strategies. Thinking about shorting AMD. Looking toppy. Well, we can look at that quick. Oh, before I move on to that, SpaceX. The reason I pulled this up, I want to tell you. So why is it selling off today? It's because of tomorrow. They are joining. They're being included to QQQ, NASDAQ 100. So SpaceX will be joining them, and right now, today and Thursday, once the news came out, hedge funds and certain large companies that own ETFs of NASDAQ, they're required to purchase various amounts of shares of companies that are going to be in NASDAQ. So today's the last day for those companies to purchase SpaceX shares before Monday, otherwise they're in violation. So they already knew this was coming, so they purchased it down here. And that's why you have kind of this flat plateau, is as it fell, the news was they're joining NASDAQ. So it sold off, they bought their shares in here, and then ran it up today. But they can still sell shares as long as they're above the minimums. So if they bought a bunch down here, ran it up, sold off some to their minimum level, and then we'll likely see this price action go lower tomorrow. There's a few companies, I forgot which ones exactly, but they ran up and spiked and rallied up to inclusion day, and then dropped off like 40% for the next week or two before it started to pull back up after consolidation. So there was someone in the Discord that asked about their inclusion, what I think the price will do, and I said I think we're going to see it sell off. Actually, you know what? I'll show you. Right there. Comments about SpaceX inclusion, blah blah blah. I'd be careful of falling tomorrow. Well, we're already seeing it now, and I did that this morning when it was way up here. So there you go. So that's my news. That's my clickbait title for this thing is we need to talk about SpaceX, and we need to talk about Mo's recipe, because I want you all to understand the gravity and the hundreds of hours that they have spent to build this thing for us here at the Earner Plus Discord. So, but yeah, so SpaceX inclusion tomorrow. Generally, after a rally, they're included. We have a pullback for a little while, and with SpaceX being a brand new IPO on top of inclusion, who knows where it's going to go. But historically, once they're included, they do have a sell-off. So there is that. Not financial advice, so be careful out there with that, but that's what I'm thinking. SpaceX shorts. Well, so I actually have AMD. It's right. I was telling you we're going to look at AMD. Tesla's still running overbought. This is ridiculous. Tesla's absolutely insane. It's ridiculous. Oh, Tesla, my goodness. Now that's the funny part too. Actually, let me go back to that. So Tesla, just realized this, is he's wanting to join Tesla with SpaceX, right? So, yeah, look at this. I bet she's going to go all the way back up there by tomorrow. We're going to be back to 422 tomorrow. That's so funny. Unless it follows SpaceX and then just they both tail off. It's funny. We have SpaceX kind of struggling today a little bit, right? And then Tesla just rallying like crazy. But if they do merge, it's going to pull all of this, revenue into the SpaceX program. So it's going to be so crazy. Watch those two. The way that they move is spazzy, but you kind of need to keep them both on your watch list together, because at some point they're going to start to match. That's my take on things. But all right, AMD. Bullish cross on Q. I just got an alert from Mo's bread recipe here. Bullish cross on Q. We'll look at that real fast. Okay. Right there. Okay. So if you're in the Discord, you can turn on notifications, and the bread recipe will tell you. And so right here, it gave notifications of 5/13 for a bullish cross. Here's your stock mode trio, and it's going to start running. Now that makes me curious. Yep. Google is still running. I'm glad I grabbed that share earlier. Started up, added to the position. I already had a little bit extra. So we'll see if it breaks this orb line. If it does, like I said, with this circle and arrow, I like this to hold. If it can keep above this orb line. We've already have proven you've broken out above the trend line. So I like Google right now. As long as it can hold in this area, we'll be sweet. Okay, I'm sorry, AMD. Yeah, definitely toppy, you're right. Now let's go to a longer time frame and get a better viewpoint of this. Let's get CCI to kind of calm down. There you go. Okay, MACD, bullish over here for sure. Already saw it run, so we need to ignore that. 50's way down here in the 30. That's a little scary. Whew. Yeah. $27 drop. Whoa. That's definitely scary. Do I have the... let's turn this on. I like these to show resistance and supports. Oh, buddy, look at that. Okay. So we're sitting in the middle of this block on the 30-minute time frame. And the 1 hour. All right, so that's going to be a pretty strong resistance zone. It's ran a lot today, so I definitely would be... Yeah. If you're looking at doing some puts on AMD, possibly. I think the premiums are probably really expensive, though. So those of you that, don't have a ton of capital, that might not be one you can play. Let's look at this. Definitely, yeah, it looks definitely toppy. All right, so a 710 put. Oof, my goodness, yes. So a July 10th expiration. So if you want to play a day trade on this, you have to pick a July 10th. They don't offer today version, at least not in Robinhood. Maybe other platforms could, but at the money, so a 565 is the next opportunity for a put, unless you want to go in the money, is just about, it's $2,000 for one contract. Yikes, that's scary. Now, granted, you could go down to, let's see, what was it? 511, 512 was the lowest point. Let's see. So that would be, if you do like a 515, still 450. And the Greeks on that are going to be pretty low. I'll show you. Let me see. So a Greek, oops, that's a call. So a 515 strike for this put is a $150 theta. So every day you hold this is $150 off. Only for a $15 delta. So if that means for every dollar move, you get $15. This thing would have to drop pretty significantly, pretty quickly for it to really help you out. You've got to hit at least theta to overcome theta, which is 150. So if you divide that by 15, roughly, you need to move $10. Roughly $10. So if it goes from 567 down to 557 or roughly, so to about here, which easily it can do. I mean, that one wick did it. This one wick is within that $10 move on an hour time frame. So it could do that, but you would need to hit a 557 on the 515 strike in order for you to hit just theta. Okay? Just to break zero. Break zero, break even, hit zero. So that's the frustrating part with this, is that you can go out the money, but you have to pay attention to Greeks. The Greeks are going to either make or break you. And if you go any higher than that, you'll get better delta, better return. The problem with that, though, is that you're paying more. So if it does not hit your break even with the Greeks, not break even on your contracts, but break even with the Greeks, you're still going to lose. And if this reverses and it does actually break through this resistance zone and it runs more, you're done. That's scary. Definitely scary. If anything, to be honest, I would like to wait, see if it can hit like somewhere in there, 575, 576, something like that, hit somewhere in this zone before doing a short on this, or not a short, but a put. And yeah, kind of like that, to be honest, and really wait for a double top. I would love to see a bit more of a clarity on a true double top here before spending that kind of premium and risk on a short or a put on AMD. I understand that it's ran a lot. I know RSI is at 72. We have a giant block right there, which usually ends up being some type of a reversal. It can be a bounce though. It gets in there, it gets stuck inside, and then it bounces. Historically, we're up there. So I understand. But yeah, I think for the premium cost, just be careful, not financial advice. You could enter it now, and it easily could drop right now. I mean, really, it's hitting this flat spot. If you look at this, it's topped. It could easily hit this one more time and then just, in the afternoon. Luckily, it's going to drop here, or at least drop down to like the 13 to fake out the bears and then push up. Something like that could happen. But obviously, it's topping out on the 15, so it's struggling to go up for sure. Oh yeah, no problem. thanks for joining the live and interacting. I really appreciate it. It's always more fun when we have comments. So yeah, I'll be back. Just so you know, I'll be back on here live Wednesday morning as well. So since you're new here, and obviously anybody, you can tag me in the Discord in any of the chats, options chats, the most, you know, it's GIFs, most busiest. But the Inner Circle chat is our Earner Plus. Yep. Oh, that's funny. Inner Circle is our Earner Plus only chats, so obviously you can tag me there too. So yeah. Yep, definitely watch AMD in this point right here. Same as the Spy. Oh no, it was Google. That's right. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't it cool how TA sometimes works out like just beautifully? Not cool. Broke trend line, confirmed, ran up. Now we're at orb, and now we're going to see what it does at orb. We're going to see if it can hold. So we have a little trio deal here. Looks like we're going to set up for another trio here, or a failure. So we're in this purple circle. That's where I said I'd like it, and it's there now. So cool. Now we need to see if it can hold this zone. If it can stay above orb line, confirm up here, do a little trio dance, you know, a little bit of red, then green, bingo. Upside. If it hits this line, green line, and it starts to break and fail, well, then we're going to go, and orb is now lost, and we're going to go for a retest of the trend line. That's my thought on Google for the day. MSTR. Oh my goodness. Crypto is... Oh man. Yeah. Let me... I'll just add another tab. When in doubt, add a tab. Ugh, NVIDIA. It's another one I can't stand. I already upgrade. Like... I don't need more. The more stuff you add, the more confusing things get, to be honest. At a certain level, you have enough tools. You don't need to keep adding more stuff. It just gets ridiculous. What am I doing? MSTR. Ads threw me off. Irritate me. Okay. I think I've got TradingView Plus, I believe I have. And I put I do futures. I play futures too, so I did futures as well. Oh, yuck. MSTR, man. Basically, follow Bitcoin. Like, whatever Bitcoin's doing, this is gonna do. To be honest, literally. Let's go to higher. Oh, good lord. Well, clearly I was drawing something way back here in May. I don't know what I was doing with that line, but yikes. Let's turn off some stuff and see if we can visualize a trend. To be honest, let's just do this. There you go. There you go. If you guys didn't know you could do that, it's a really cool function. Where's the, I want it to be the same percentage. It's not working, okay. Well, you can get it to be a bit more overlappy, but this is good enough. Good enough for now. So blue line here is Bitcoin, and then strategy or MSTR is the candles. So you can see How? Ugh. Man, yeah. Even with Bitcoin, so Bitcoin, it was close to it right here, and then at that point, it just, I mean, really took a dive, even worse than Bitcoin did. 45%. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. Technical analysis, TA, and charting, honestly, on crypto, just it almost doesn't even make sense, because it runs where it's going to go. It just does what it wants. Some TA works until it doesn't, and then does all the time. You pay for Premium Plus. It's sketchy. What? It gives you ads to like upgrade? Is that what you're saying it does? Like what just happened to me here? So yeah, use this comparison tool TradingView has. It's pretty cool. You can use. I actually, honestly, I did it once with Nikkei, the Japanese market. I overlaid that with S&P 500 futures, and it was really cool to see. One night I was playing S&P 500 futures, and it was the Japanese market was running just slightly ahead by one candle of the S&P. So I had an overlay. So as I was seeing the Japanese market move up or down, I could enter my futures play up or down, and it would go perfectly in line with the market of Japan after hours. So it was like midnight my time. So it was pretty cool to see that overlay. And if you didn't have that, you had to go back and forth from charts. But use this comparison function. You just hit plus and add. It's pretty cool. So yeah, as far as Bitcoin goes, I have no flipping clue, guys. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I really don't, because I don't want to say something. I'm a bear with crypto. I made a bunch of money on XRP moving it from my average is 0.38 to 0.45 back when it was that low, and I only held it for about 6 months. I felt stupid doing that, but then of course it ran. Off we go. And honestly, it had nothing to do. I don't believe anything that anyone says why it ran from 50 cents to $3. I feel like none of it was anything to do with anything except for hype and Trump's election. Once Trump was getting in and his inauguration and all of that, that was the only reason it ran, because of the potentials that the administration can have with crypto is why XRP ran from 50 cents to $3. I don't believe it has anything to do with anything else. That's just me. I don't know. I could be talking up my butt and be very wrong about it, but that's what I think. Along to the green line. Well, obviously it was there, right? I mean, that's where it was. So at one point we were up there. In fact, it was even higher than Bitcoin was. Look at that. I mean, in relation to Bitcoin, it ran even higher. So as Bitcoin kind of rose and topped out, MSTR did pretty good. It's funny, as we move this here, it really kind of overlays. The percentages are off. I can change that in settings, but don't worry about that. Anyways, of course Bitcoin can get to places that are unknown, right? But obviously crypto right now too is just taking massive hits. And why? It could be 1,000 things, to be honest. So anyways, that's MSTR. I don't really know much else to say, except the fact that we can definitely get to better places than we are. It's just it's going to require Bitcoin to be. Ooh, that's interesting. Look at this. Do you see this? Right there? Sitting right at this line. Interesting. So, broke down below and it came back to this point. I just found it funny that we're sitting right there today as we're talking live on this. That might be a source of support. If it can hold this potentially here, And if you look at this, it's not pretty. Well, now that I zoom in, it looks worse. I was seeing double bottom at first. Me and DBs today, man. Just if you're into Bitcoin and crypto and MSTR, just watch this one. We are at that historic point over here, so it could bounce from here. We just need some better news with crypto for it to do anything, But hey, we had Solana, for example, drop all the way down to $12 in I think it was summer of 24, and then it ran from $12 all the way to 250 something. Unfortunately, I was not in it at the time, although I do love Solana. But 12 to 250, holy moly, within a year. So, crypto can do crazy things. Just it's ever since the government got into it, they've got their hands on stuff. It's not been nearly as obvious. So, just watch this one. Anything else before I head out here? I don't think there's much else to talk about. Looks like SpaceX has found a little bit of a bottom. Here's a doji again. Talked about that earlier, right there. There's that little tiny doji. Long wick, tiny little bar. Reversal. Yeah. See? You gotta watch those things. AMD's kind of curling over. Right in that block, like I said. Either it's gonna break through this or it's gonna reverse down. Oh, I'm getting alerts. What's happening? Okay. AMPX ETH. Okay. Oh my gosh, Moderna. Do you all remember when I was talking about Moderna? Look at this. I mentioned Moderna back in a live stream somewhere in June. I was playing 57 calls. 57 strike. So I must have probably been somewhere in here. On this trend line, I bet you. So after it broke out this trend line, I was playing 57 strike calls. Then I came back down to the 57. So I played it in here. It broke out. It filled these lines. And then I forgot about it. Stopped talking about it. It was back with the hantavirus stuff was all coming out. Hanta, whatever you call it. Tomato. So I was playing 57 calls. And then once it started breaking down, I ignored it. It hit here again. And I got bored with it and moved on. And then it didn't do much, obviously. But then, look at this. Whoa, what happened? Okay. Where'd it go? Where are you? What is going on? What the heck? Totally freaked out. All right, we're just gonna leave that. Oh, AMD's falling. SPY's still rising up to that green line, whatever that line was. That. Oh, from the prior high. Okay, still working on it. I don't know what that. I don't know what that was. That was weird. Okay. 57, it was boring, blah, 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 right? And then boom. Now we've broken above this line too. So we've broken at least 2 trend lines just in June into July. And now we're moving up again. So, wow, 57 to 85. Dang, man, we all missed out. That would have been so sick to get shares off that. I just didn't think it was going to run like that. Why is it run like that? That makes me nervous. I don't trust Moderna at all. Call me a conspiracy freak. Okay, I don't care. I don't trust Moderna. I don't know why. Why would it run like that in summertime? $6 today alone. $37 run in last month, 78%. What is happening? What is there news on this? Flu shot? Is that really all it's... Moderna's pipeline hype sends shares soaring again. I'm reading some news on it. I don't... But 2 days ago, Moderna up 70% in a month after the 9-0 FDA vote. Wall Street average price up target. What? I don't understand. We have to look into this, I guess, and see why it's running like this. FDA. Oh, okay. FDA is saying in a vote 9-0, the Moderna's mRNA flu vaccine benefits outweigh any risks. So they're trying to push... Yeah. So it sounds like they're trying to push the same style COVID vaccine that they created, the mRNA COVID vaccine. It sounds like they're pushing it to do the same style, but for a flu. Okay. Final decision for approval is expected by August 5th. It's trading near a 52-week high. Yeah, obviously. Okay. So price target, they're saying, is still around 45, even though it's at 85. So, okay. So in that case, if price target is still at 85, or sorry, 45, way down here at the point of control with the visual range profile, roughly down here in this level, right? That means we have almost, pretty much, a 50% reduction from here downside after this news is done. I don't know. Maybe it's going to keep rising, or this will be its new bottom. At least we'll take profit taking for sure. At least probably down to 50, 60. At least that. Weird. All right. Well, I don't know who's on still. I'm just talking to myself. I saw that and I was like, what? It threw me off. All right. Well, I don't know. Is anything else? Trump is definitely winning, but I'm not tired yet. I mean, if you were in the right moves, you definitely won. If you were in AMD at 88, if you were in, I don't even name them all. If you were in most of these, not AMD, I'm sorry, Micron at 88, right? SanDisk at 35. SanDisk. There's so many that were just astronomical. NVIDIA before its first pop, SMCI, Intel, Dell, oh my gosh, right? So yeah, if you were in any of these solid moves and you had a decent enough amount of shares or you held options long, yeah, you made a lot. FYI, Bit might add another 74 million to their stock. Watching this also, tell me doesn't... I can't see this. Doesn't lose often. Great stream. Thanks for... Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. BMNR, I actually don't buy BMNR. He kind of did lose, right? He bought this stuff way high, right? Like, he was buying it, it's all gobbledygook. He was buying it way up high. ETH, he was buying it at 4,000. So, he's definitely, he's got a lot to do to come back up. You know what I'm saying? But instead of buying BMNR, I'm in ETHU. I have ETHU. So fortunately, I kind of do like not a day swing trade, I guess you call. Whereas it rises some, I'll just sell all of it and then I'll come back in. I'll watch Ethereum ticker and then I'll just kind of base things off of that. So it looks, yeah, RSI is looking like we're going to go back up to another rise here, which means that Ethereum and Bitcoin, all those are going to do the same thing. So I'm not saying we're going to get back up to here necessarily, but we might rise to. I would love to see 25, 2x from here. I think that would be a fair run on ETH to 27 roughly. I think that'd be fair. Again, we need more positive news. Now the Iranian war, I guess, is finished. Are we done with that? Is that over? There's no tariff stuff out there. We have midterm elections coming up, which is scary. Like with the markets uncertainty. I mean, nothing political. Just saying. So we might see crypto run a bit as we get closer to midterms, if nothing else goes out there. So okay, yeah. Nothing against BMNR. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not going to do fantastically. It might blow ETH out of the water. I don't know. I just know that if you get in at historically, BMNR doesn't have like a long history in comparison to the ETH type stuff. The leveraged accounts don't always run even because of NAV erosion, things like that. And fees. So I mean, BMNR might outdo ETH at one point. I don't know. Maybe we should run 1-to-1. For every share of ETH I buy, I should buy a share of BMNR, and then we can compare. And if it starts to look like BMNR is doing better, then I just drop off ETH. I don't know. I've done it before with other things, so maybe that's an opportunity we could play around with that idea. Don't know. That sounds good though. Why not? Anything else out there? There's 11 of us watching at this point. At least according to YouTube. I don't want to take too much more time here. I'm definitely way over my limit. And I've got to get back to my phone here has been blowing up about the fire stuff. I've got a few messages. I got to figure out what they're talking about. So let's do a quick review. Let's look at the SPY real fast. It's hitting that top. It's hitting that top, folks. Remember that one we talked about earlier, the double top? We're pushing it for SPY. It's pushing that line. You might see it if we move this to the top of those candles, prior candles. We got a little bit of space left, but not much. So watch for a reversal on the SPY here pretty quick, or a breakthrough, and then we keep going. Google still running. Dang, now I kind of wish it got into an option. I wish it got in a call back here in a broke trend line. It's okay, we got shares. This is why you do shares, you do shares on top of this. It's not as quick, obviously, as calls and options, but look at that. That's beautiful. Broke trend line, broke orb, confirmed. Pew, off to the races, folks. Love that. That's going to help pull up the Qs for sure. SpaceX turning up yet? It did. Doji won. Doji says go. There we go. Now it doesn't mean it's going to hold to keep rising, right? But at least for a reversal, it did. Watch for the top of this. I'd say watch for a 162 or above. If not, more downside on SpaceX, AMD. Yep, it hit that top plateau early. I was thinking maybe it's going to go up here to that blue teal line, but nope. Now it could hit the 13 and bounce and try again for later today. We have a lot more day left. So be careful of a reversal anywhere in here around 562. Be careful of a reversal around there on the 13 for AMD. Google is showing overbought on the 5. Man, on the 5. Anything else? Anything else you all want to look at? I think we're done. We're good. We all set. All right. Remember code FREEDOM for 40% off of the lifetime access. I don't want to see anybody pay more than we have to, so get in before it's too late. And thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on Wednesday morning.